So last week we started with a new topic. What was that? Boundary conditions, right? So let me note down the equations for that. So we had two ways in that. So boundary conditions for dielectric interface, and the other we had boundary conditions for dielectric conductor interface, right? So what are the boundary conditions for dielectric interface? So it was Et1 equal to Et2, then dn1 minus dn2 equal to rho s, bn1 equal to bn2, and finally ht1 minus ht2 equal to js, right? So if you have forgotten the coordinate system we used, usually we use this as z cap, this is x, and this is y. So again we follow the right hand coordinate system, right? So we can usually it will, so next we have to solve numericals on this. So usually a interface will be given where the medium changes. So let's say this is medium 1, this is medium 2. So they will give field in any one medium E vector. They'll ask what is the field in this medium. So that is the only sort of questions we get. Maximum they can ask what is E vector, and then they will ask what is D vector, right? So this is what will be here. So this is for dielectric interface. Same applies if we, even if it is conductor. So what are the equations? We saw that electromagnetic field cannot penetrate a conductor. So Et1 equal to 0, Bn1 equal to rho s, Bn1 equal to 0, and Ht1 equal to Js. So in the absence of electric and charges, what we say, rho s is 0, Js is 0. So this all will be 0 for dielectric conductor interface. This is a dash here, and here dn1 will be all the fields will be continuous at the boundary, right? So what do we mean by continuous at the boundary? It is both the fields are tangential components in the both the mediums are equal. That's what we mean by continuous at the boundary. It is a technical term. So next let's start with the numericals. All these numericals except the last one are asked in the exam for 10 marks. So they are very important. So this are, and they are repeated in the exams. So the question goes on like this. The plane z equal to 0 marks the boundary between free space and dielectric medium with epsilon r equal to 40. So the electric field next to the interface in free space is 13 Ex cap plus 40 Ay cap plus 50 Az cap volt per meter. Determine the electric field on other side of the interface. So first thing we have to see the interface. Where is it? It is at z equal to 0, right? So again let's draw the coordinate system. So this is my coordinate system. Obviously this is the origin. So what they have said, the plane z equal to 0 marks the boundary. Means the boundary is what? Plane z equal to 0. Now z equal to 0 means what? Xy plane, right? So this is my boundary, right? Yes or no? So this is my boundary. It means the xy plane is my boundary, right? So I can say, so you can imagine this x is directly going towards you. So in that way I am drawing the interface like this. So this is my interface which is separating the mediums. So next they have not talked about which medium is where, means which is medium 1, which is medium 2. So let me arbitrarily assume this is medium 1, this is medium 2. Next what they have said, the plane z equal to 0 marks the boundary between free space and dielectric medium with epsilon r equal to 40. Now you might say, sir, for free space epsilon r is not given. For free space epsilon r is nothing but 1 only. So it is free space or vacuum. So that epsilon r is always 1, right? So for medium 2, epsilon r is given as 40, right? Then the electric field next to the interface in free space, means which electric field they have given? This electric field. So this is what E1 vector they have given. What they are asking, determine the electric field on other side of the interface. So they are asking what is E2 vector. So this is what we have to find out, right? So again, if we go to the equations, so this is which interface? Dielectric interface, means these equations we have to use. Et1 equal to Et2, and dn1 minus dn2 is rho s. Now they have not talked anything about rho s, so we can assume it safely to be 0. Since these are magnetic fields, this will not be used for this particular sum. Okay. So ET1 equal to ET2 and DN1 equal to DN2 it will be. So both fields are continuous at the boundary, right? So what is my E? So what we require? We require the tangential component of electric field. So they have already given the complete electric field. So let me write that. So E1 vector equal to 13 AX cap plus 40 AY cap plus 50 AZ cap volts per meter. This is given, right? So means we need to separate this into tangential and normal components. So how to do that, right? So see my hand. This represents what? XY plane. So you, and this represents my Z axis, right? So electric field is going like this. It will go like this, right? So if you resolve this into three components, right? X will be like this. So both are in the same direction, parallel. So X is what? Tangential component, right? X is going like this. Interface is also like this. If I take Y, Y is in this direction. This is my Y, right? So Y is in this direction. Again, Y is tangential, right? But Z, how is it Z like this? So if I bring it here, it is like this. So it is perpendicular. Means what? X and Y are tangential components. And this is normal component, right? So you have to write this. From the figure we see that the X and Y are the tangential components, whereas Z is the normal component of the field, right? So that you have to write. I am not writing. So therefore I get ET1 equal to vector equal to 13 AX cap plus 40 AY cap volts per meter. And what is EN1 vector equal to? It will be 50 AZ cap volts per meter. Now what I have to find? E2 vector. So I can use the boundary conditions for dielectric interface. First is what? ET1 equal to ET2. So I directly get by using boundary conditions for dielectric interface, ET1 equal to ET2, right? So therefore I can say ET2 vector equal to what? ET1 vector. So ET2 vector is 13 AX cap plus 40 AY cap volts per meter. So what is remaining? Only EN2 vector. I hope you are getting this point that E2 vector will be what? ET2 vector plus EN2 vector. So we are already done with this part. A vector is a combination of tangential and normal components. So next, for finding normal component, what will we use? dn1 minus dn2 is rho s, but rho s is not given. So what will we write? Assume rho s equal to 0. So therefore dn1 equal to dn2. This is the reason epsilon r is given. So what is d? We know it is epsilon e. So therefore epsilon en1 equal to epsilon r1 en1 equal to epsilon r2 en2. What we are finding? en2. So therefore en2 equal to epsilon r1 into en1 epsilon r2, right? So just substitute the formulas, we will get the answer. So epsilon r1 is 1, en1 is how much? It is 50. We are interested in normal component, so it is 50 upon epsilon r2 is 40. So it is 1.25, right? So therefore en2. So if I write in vector terms now, it is what? 1.25 Az cap, unit is volts per meter. Again you can use what? Newtons per coulomb if you want. So therefore E2 vector equal to ET2 vector plus En2 vector. So therefore E2 vector equal to what we had? It was 13 Ax cap plus 40 Ay cap plus here we got 1.25 Az cap volts per meter. So this is our required answer. Right? So isn't it very simple example for 10 marks only? For 10 marks, sorry. So let's proceed to the next sum. So two extensive homogeneous isotropic dielectric media. Don't get bogged down by this technical jargon. It is not required for us. So what we are interested in, they are dielectric media. So we have to use boundary conditions for dielectric media. So two dielectric media meet on plane z equal to 0, right? Means again we have to use the previous coordinate system only. So for z greater than 0, now what is the difference here? They had not mentioned which is medium 1, which is medium 2, but here they have given for z greater than 0 epsilon r1, means z greater than 0 we should name the medium as medium 1. So that is the difference here. And epsilon r2 equal to 3 for z less than 0, right? So uniform electric field E1 vector is 5x cap minus 2ay cap plus 3az cap. Remember here it is kilovolts per meter. In the previous case it was only volts per meter. Exists for z greater than 0. So again medium 1 they have given, we have to find E2 vector for z less than 0 and angles E1 and E2. So this is the new thing we will study. So this was also asked for 10 marks. Okay, so first step is to always draw the coordinate system. So that's why I had a separate lecture for coordinate systems. Okay, so again z is my interface, sorry, z plane is my interface, means this will be my interface, right? So where will be z equal to 0? On the xy plane. So this is my z equal to 0. So here it is increasing, here it is decreasing. So this is z less than 0, this is z greater than 0, sorry. So z greater than 0 is medium 1. So here epsilon r1 equal to 4, this is medium 2, epsilon r2 equal to 3, and E vector is going like this, right? So again if you think this is my x coming towards you, so this is tangential, y is like this, tangential, z is like this, normal, right? So again we will write from the figure, we see that x and y are the normal tangential components and z are the normal components. So now what will be E1 vector? It is given 5x cap minus 2ay cap plus 3az cap kilovolts per meter. So we'll write from figure, whatever it is, blah blah blah. Therefore Et1 vector equal to 5x cap minus 2ay cap kilovolts per meter. And what is En1 vector? It is 3az cap kilovolts per meter, right? Next what will we do? So we have to find E2 vector, right? So again by boundary conditions for dielectric interface, Et1 equal to Et2. So therefore what will be Et2 vector? Same as Et1 vector. So Et2 vector is 5x cap minus 2ay cap kilovolts per meter. So this is our first intermediate answer. Then again have they talked about rho s? No. So we say assume rho s equal to 0. So therefore dn1 equal to dn2. So therefore again epsilon r1 en1 equal to epsilon r2 en2. So therefore en2 equal to epsilon r1 into en1 upon epsilon r2. So what is epsilon r1? It is 4. So 4 into en1. En1 is 3. So it is 3 kilo. So 3000 upon epsilon r2 is 3. So what we are getting? 4000. So 4 kilovolts per meter, right? So I will take a new page. So therefore En2 vector equal to 4 kilovolts per meter. So therefore what is E2 vector? It is again Et2 vector plus En2 vector. So therefore E2 vector equal to, what is Et2? 5x minus 2ay. So 5ax cap minus 2ay cap and plus z component is 4 az cap, together kilovolts per meter. So this is our final required answer. So this was part A. Then they have asked part B. So this was part A. So this is part B. So what is it? Exists for, sorry, angles E1 and E2 we have to find, right? So we can take this only. So this is my E vector. How is it coming in this direction, right? So it is making an angle, let's say theta 1 with the interface or our boundary, right? So if you resolve this, what will this be? This is normal component En1 vector. This will be tangential component Et1 vector, right? So this is my theta. You just extend this line. So opposite side and adjacent side, which is the trigonometric function tan theta. So what you can use? Tan theta 1 is opposite side. En1 upon Et1. So obviously it cannot be vector, so it will be magnitude of those vectors, right? So we already have En1 and Et1, right? So and theta1 will be tan inverse. So shift tan En1. What is En1? 3. I am not taking k, but finally I will use k upon square root of 5 square plus 2 square. So what are we getting? 29.12. So this is what was this? Theta 1, right? So again we have drawn in the figure, we have to show in figure. So I'll write from figure. I have shown it here. Theta 1 equal to tan inverse of magnitude of En1 vector upon magnitude of Et1 vector. So if you don't want to show separately, you can show the step here only. So tan inverse of square root of 3 square upon square root of 5 square plus 2 square. So therefore theta 1 equal to how much we are getting? 29.12 degrees. So this is theta 1. Similarly theta 2 will be what? Tan inverse of En2 vector upon Et2 vector. So therefore theta 2 equal to tan inverse square root of 4 square upon square root of 5 square plus 2 square. So therefore theta 2 equal to, so same thing we have, instead of three we have 4. So 36.6 degree. So 36.6 degrees, right? So this is how you have to solve the sums. So let's take one more sum and then we'll stop for the day. So region y less than 0 consists of perfect conductor. So now what is the difference? Usually we had z, now we have y. While y greater than 0 consists of dielectric medium, and we saw the examples on dielectric interface. Now this is dielectric conductor interface. So if there is a surface charge of 2 nanocoulomb per meter square, so again one more difference is rho s is given. So determine E vector and D vector at 2 points, right? So let me draw the coordinate system. So again we'll have the same coordinate system, but the position of the boundary has changed. So this is z, this is x, this is y, right? So this is my interface. So what do I have to do? Yeah. Why this is my interface? Have you got y plane, right? Means xz. So this is my interface now. So again you assume x is here in 3D, right? So this will be y less than 0. This will be y greater than 0. We have not talked anything about medium. So this is medium 1, medium 2. So this is dielectric. Y less than 0 is perfect conductor, sorry. So you cannot assume this is dielectric. This is conductor and this is dielectric, right? So for conductor we have rho s equal to 2 nanocoulomb per meter square, right? So determine E vector and D vector. Now what we know, at conductor no fields exist. That's what we have proved in the last lecture and we saw at the start also today, right? So no fields exist means here for E1 vector is 0, and since E1 vector is 0, D1 vector is epsilon E vector, so D1 vector will be 0, right? So if this both the points lie in this side, they will be 0, right? So let's just see them. So a 3 minus 2 2, so a is 3, y is minus 2, so I am going here, and z is 2 means where? Somewhere over here. So a 3 minus 2 2. Make sure you draw the diagrams correctly and write this separately. For me it is okay. So it is falling in the conductor, right? So you will not just write like this. You will say we know that no fields exist inside a conductor, right? So as we see from the figure that point A lies in the conductor region, right? So therefore E1 vector equal to 0 volts per meter and D1 vector equal to 0 coulombs per meter square. So this is our answer for point A, part A, right? So next see part B, where point B lies. So B, x is minus 4, so somewhere over here. Y is 1, z is 5, so B is here. This is my B minus 4, 1, 5. Right? So B lies in dielectric, so we have to find this value. Right? But what are the boundary conditions now? Dielectric, conductor, medium. Right? Yeah. So by boundary conditions for dielectric, conductor, medium, what we know, dn1 dn2 minus dn1 equal to rho s, I'll say, because my conductor is what? Medium 1, right? So I'll take it as the first medium, so that you can interchange, because obviously you know it should not be negative. Rho s cannot come out to be negative, right? So dn2 minus dn1 is rho s, and we know dn1 is 0 because dn is 0, so dn2 is rho s, and d is what? Epsilon 2 en2 equal to rho s, right? So again I'll read epsilon r2, sorry, so epsilon r2 en2 equal to rho s. So what is epsilon r in the medium 2? Oops, I made a mistake. What they have given, dielectric medium is medium 1, right? So this should be 1 actually, and this should be 2. So make sure while solving you do that. I'm not making that correction, so, but make sure you do that. Okay, so epsilon r2 en2 is rho s. So what is the value of epsilon r2? Epsilon r2 means dielectric medium, so it should be 2. We have interchanged the mediums, so 2 into en2 is 2 nano, so therefore en2 is 1 nanovolts per meter, right? And in vector form, normal component will be what now, right? So this is the plane, right? So again this is the plane, x is tangential, y is normal now, and z is tangential, right? So therefore en2 vector equal to 1 ay cap nanovolts per meter. Fine. Oh, damn. See, I made a huge mistake in all the sums. So let me clarify that. Extremely sorry. What is d vector? It is epsilon e vector, right? So therefore d vector is epsilon 0 epsilon r. What is epsilon? Epsilon 0 epsilon r e vector, right? So this should be epsilon 0, right? So here I'll get again epsilon 0. So here it will be divided. So whatever is the answer divided by epsilon 0. So 1 by epsilon 0 means, what is epsilon 0? 8.85 into 10 raised to minus 12 inverse, right? So this is our answer for en2, and into 10 raised to minus 9, so 10 raised to minus 9, so 112.99. so therefore en2 vector equal to, I can approximate it to be 113 volts per meter, right? So what was the question? So I'll just clear the doubts for the previous sums later in some time. So we have got en2 vector, right? So we have to find et2 vector also. So let's see whether it exists. So now can you think what will be et2 vector? What we have said, e1 vector is 0, and we know from boundary conditions that et1 equal to et2. So since et1 is 0, et2 has to be 0, right? So therefore so you have to write by boundary conditions from dielectric conductor interface, et1 equal to et2 nahi rahega, sorry, it will be et2 equal to 0, because et1 is also 0, so et2 is 0. So therefore e2 vector will be what? Again it is et2 vector plus en2 vector, so e2 vector is 113 it is ay cap volts per meter. So this is my E2 vector. So this is E2 vector, and what is remaining? E vector and D vector, right? So D vector we found out. D vector we have not found out. What we are saying? dn2 minus dn1 is rho s, right? And what is 0? d1 is 0, so dn1 has to be 0. So dn2 vector should be what? Rho s is 2 nano. So 2 nano coulomb per meter square. And in which direction? If this is dn2, if I add vector now, it is 2 ay cap nano coulomb per meter square, right? So let's see, I made a big mistake actually. So this was the first sum, right? T2 vector yeah actually we have not made a mistake, or I can say we made a mistake but it got corrected automatically. dn1 is also epsilon 0 epsilon r, dn2 is also epsilon 0 epsilon r, right? So epsilon 0 epsilon r will get cancelled, right? So our answers are anyways correct, right? But it is not the case here because dn1 was 0, right? So this is the thing about boundary conditions, right? So next mostly we'll start with wave equation, and then I'll prove in that lecture the point number 2. Is that page? Yeah, here only, right? So probably in the next lecture or next to next lecture, we have already proved interdependence of electric and magnetic fields concerning significance of Maxwell's equation. So further in the next lecture or the next lecture to that, I'll prove that existence of electromagnetic wave also we got from where Maxwell's equations. Okay, so we'll meet in the next lecture.